Hey guys, Terry with Computer Pro. Just going to show you a quick thing on the programming stuff for the Unication. So the default here when you open the software is admin. Admin. Usually you get the software from Unication. You send them a email or something, and they just email it to you. Okay, so it's pretty colorful and kind of cool looking, but it's a nice. It's actually really good software. It walks you through it. You see how they break it down: A, B, C, D, E through G. It's very simple. A is a user guide. It just tells you a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, it's literally step by steps you through using the software. So just by getting the software, you can pretty much learn it. Um, the only thing I can touch on is for my setup in Saginaw County, Michigan. I can show you how I have it set up and then go from there kind of. There's only a few things you have to have added, but I'll go through it quickly. Um, so now I've already set mine up, so it's going to be a little different. I can't create a new profile because I already have one, but if I go to setting, this is where you, I think, modify your username and password and all that. I didn't modify any of that. I just kept it admin. I didn't care. It's just the default login, okay? Um, create the user new profile. That's where you'd probably put in like your name or what you're going to call it, or uh, whatever. I did that already, so I can't do it again, but I'll go through the existing. So this is the one I created. Um, Once you plug in your device, in my case I have a G4, it pulls the serial number and all the stuff from it. Um, I did it a couple weeks ago, as you see. So if I double click it, it will go into the actual software, and once again it walks you through the steps, right? 1 through, I don't know how many steps there are here, 10. Okay, so it's just a step-by-step process. It's actually really nice. Um, okay, so I called mine. I wasn't sure what to do here. Oh, the other thing is wherever you put the mouse, usually it'll highlight what it'll tell you what you need to put there. So I mean, they did a really good job in making it pretty ABC and walking you through it. Um, Profile ID, I'm not even sure. I can't click that. That might have been hard coded. That's fine. Group name, I had no idea what that was. It doesn't show up when I scan that I know of, so I just called it. I think that's to reference the software itself. Like if you have a bunch of different profiles or something, so I just called it, I just gave it a name, group 1 main. So I told you when it was created. Then as you click next, see we're on step 1, you click next, it's going to just walk you through, okay? This here gets a little confusing depending what you have. If you have a G5 or G4, a G5 will do conventional frequencies also, and that's what it defaults at. So if you have a G4 and you get to step 2 and you look at this and you're like, what is this? It's not, you need to click here, P25 trunking, because this is the only thing that pertains to the G4. So you click here, and this is where you start entering your relevant info. Look on mine and notice, like this is disabled. This is, so like I said, if mine's set up for Saginaw County, so you'll have to, and where you get this info from is like on Radio Reference. It's really simple, radioreference.com. So if you go databases, frequency, I am in Michigan. I'll click my county, Saginaw County, Michigan. And we are on the Michigan Public Safety Communications, MPSCS. The P25, it's a phase 1 system. I will click that, and that tells you about it, and also tells you, it gives me my little alias, or what do they call it here? They call it a system alias. So mine is MPSCS. I believe what that means. That's what that means. I put it in there, and it seems to work. The system ID. Now here's something to note. This says hex, right? Like it's asking for it in hex. I converted it to hex actually and put it in there as hex, and it did not work. So just enter them direct as decimal, just regular numbers, the way they show. So system ID is 796 for Saginaw, and system ID here I put 796. And the same for the Wocket ID 92493, I put 92493. So I believe you just click over what you want to do. So I click this, and that's where I can put that in. I click this, and that's where I modify that. Okay, so that takes care of these. This for me is off for whatever reason. I don't even know what that does. I'm sure it. Oh, enable site trunking. I don't need it, so I leave that off. Site list I think is default to 1. It works for me. These are very important. This right here. This is your channels. So you click here and you're going to have your primary and your alternate control channels. Okay. So where you get those is if you scroll down, like you go to your county and your database and so forth, I chose mine and then the system as I scroll down. It's going to show me, I look for my actual county, Saginaw County simulcast, and in red is the primary and blue is the alternate. So Saginaw County, my primary is, and it doesn't use the letter. It uses, I think mine put a 0 there for the thing, but you don't put the letter in. So mine was 8.5, or the primary was 853.9875, and the alternate 853.8625. So I entered those here. I entered them here. Yeah, you see how it adds that other 0. So I think it just does that, but that's where you put those in. So this part is very important for everything to work. Obviously, you have to have this entered right. Not sure about this. I just copied what was in those parentheses. Mine works great. So this has to be right, obviously, and your control channels obviously have to be set correctly. Okay. So there's that. Then you click next and you get to the type. This P25 trunking, that's the only system that I have. So I'm sure you can choose from, I mean, I don't know if that two-tone stuff, conventional P25, all these different things. Mine's P25 trunking, so that's what I chose. Okay, we're on number 4, group setting or group ID setting. This is the pool. This is where you enter, I have 88 total. This is where you enter all your talk groups, regardless of, I get medical, fire, police, everything is lumped in here. This is the main container of all your talk groups. So you kind of lump them all in here, you list them all, and then in here is where you go through and pick, I want, fire on this one and police on this one and mix and match on this one and so forth. Okay, so we're going to go back to number 4. So this is just where you list all of them. Okay, now alert tones, I believe that is, yeah, it should tell you alert tone. When a message received, it can either not play a tone or play one of the tones that they have. So I can have it, for example, so when fire, something comes out over fire, it'll play some kind of tone and, then talk. I don't use that. I'm not a fireman. I have it functioning strictly as a scanner. So I hear stuff over it. So I don't need a certain tone to go out, but this is where you would set it. Unfortunately, I think this defaults to the word default. Like if I go to add a new one, yeah, it defaults to this checked voice storage. I turned that off on mine. I don't even know what that does. Start recording voice messages. That's the little button on top. You can voice calls. Yeah, I unchecked mine. So because I'm not sure exactly what that does. I'd have to check, but if that has to do with something with like fireman paging or something. But anyways, I turned it off. Relay control I have on off. It is by default. And so once that's off, I turn the tone to none. If you want a tone to go out every time that particular thing talks, then you would set it here, And this is where you enter the name, and where you find that next info that I'm at now is you just keep scrolling down. It's long because it's an alphabetical. You see how long this page is. I'm going to go all the way down. It's alphabetical, so Saginaw is, see, we're on D, G. I got to go all the way down to Saginaw, which is, there we go. Saginaw County starts right after Roscommon, Presque Isle. Saginaw's right here. So we got like 7.3 must be for Saginaw County. So we got 7.3 mutual aid, statewide common, all med, so forth. So the alpha tag and the decimal. These are the two, that number and the alpha tag. Those are what you're going to enter. Okay. So for example, I'm going to delete this one because I don't want that extra. Okay, so I entered all of them. It takes a while, and you can't, like, to say you want the alert tones on none, you can't like select all and choose to none. I wish you could. You literally, every time you're entering one, you have to go through and check every single one. So it kind of stinks, but it is a one-time setup. So for example, here's my third entry is county fire primary. That is under right here, 73 COFD. So that is main, that's like main fire dispatch. So all fire calls, all rescue runs, everything going over main county fire comes over here. It shows up. Now you can alter this alpha tag. I don't know if I'd recommend it. I mean, you could make it mean something more meaningful, like you could put county fire or whatever here. I just make them match this. They're pretty self-explanatory. Excuse me, because you know FD is fire department, CO is county. You know it's all 7.3. That's Saginaw. I just, if I ever had to reference it later, it shows on the internet as this whatever alpha tag it was given. So that's how I list it in my system. It's just easier for me like that. So these are the two things. You need this number and you need that alpha tag. Okay. So 1627 and that alpha tag. So that's county fire primary. So when I made county fire primary, I I put the alpha tag under the group alias, and then over here I entered that number 1627. Okay, I entered it as decimal, and I think by default that's checked. So just leave that alone. You literally just have to enter the number. Okay, so 1627. Once again, we got that number here, 1627 and 73 COFD. So that is entered 73 COFD, and it here 1627. Okay, and then you can keep adding new ones and so forth. And you enter, takes a while. You enter, I mean, some people probably have hundreds. I have a total of 88. And across different zones and everything, you literally enter them as one big holder for all of your things that you want to listen to. Excuse me. Sore throat today, but so once you enter all of them, then you go to your next thing, which is your zone and channel setting. This is where you actually pick your zones and your knob positions. Remember, it seems limited because you only have 8 knob positions, but you can have multiple zones. So you can switch from, say, Saginaw County, and then you have like 3 is police, 4 is lean, 5 is PTAC, and 7 is fire, 8 is medical. Then you can switch to like Saginaw City, and you could literally have medical for city, fire for city. So you can, so it's almost unlimited. I don't know if there's a limit to the number of zones. There's probably some limit, but I'm sure you can have a whole bunch. You know, I don't even need that. You know, everything I want is pretty much right here. This is everything that's coming across my county that's of importance: police, fire, medical. Okay. So it's kind of self-explanatory. Under the zone name, this is what shows on the front of your scanner. So I typed in Saginaw County, so mine says when something comes across it says Saginaw County. And if I go here, Saginaw City and state fed, I've got like DNR and different state stuff in here, but 99% of the day I'm on my county system because I want to monitor what goes on in the county. So my knob position 1, I set that up. I called it, let me double click it so I can show you here. Okay, so for here, most of the stuff I left default. I did have to, I don't know if this just defaults or if you choose it, but there's only one to choose from. That's what you set up earlier, right? So that's going to be easy. This should be, if it's not, needs to be on what you set in these settings. Like mine is on the trunking talk group scan, okay? And the voice prompt, I think this was, I don't know if they're all on there. Let me look at my other ones. Knob position. I guess this should be on none because my other ones are on none. It's kind of weird how that flashes for a second to see it, but yeah, voice prompt should be on none. Otherwise, I believe it will actually say what it is, and like in some robotic voice or something happened like that. If I hit, I wonder if you can hear this. If I hit it, so if I go here, yeah, I don't know if you heard that. A robot voice just said trunking talk group priority scan. So yeah, that needs to be on none for sure. Okay, otherwise it's going to say that every time there's traffic. Okay, so for mine, if you just mimic it, I have it set up like this. If you have a different county, you know, just I guess, take into consideration what I have set up and adjust accordingly. This push to listen was defaulted to no. Audio Scouts was defaulted to no. I believe I changed these. I took off, this might have been on, I turned it off. And my alert mode I put to silent because I don't want to be alerted. But it's kind of handy, like if you're a fireman and you are monitoring the scanner, but you want to be alerted somehow if, say, your department goes off or something, I believe you can do all that cool fancy stuff with like settings like this here. Okay, for me, normal scanner, so I turned it all on silent. Voice buffering is on disable. I believe that they tell you what that is too. If you have the alert tone, I think it gives you time after the tone goes off. So while the tone's going, they're not talking or something like that. But since I don't have that, mine's turned off. Okay. Up here where it says alias, that is what you want, what it's going to say under the name Saginaw County. Okay. So like, for example, in knob position 4, it says police. So when I look at the front, I know that that's where the police stuff I have in there. Position 7 says fire, self-explanatory. I've got my fire there. Medical, I've got my medical there. So make sure you put there what's meaningful, so when you turn your knob and look at the face of your scanner, you know what it is. Okay. In my first position, I have it set up for a scan, which kind of scans just about everything. And if there's too much chatter on it, if it's too much, and I just want to hear like dispatch, like main things that happen, whether it be police or fire, I go to knob 2, which is just dispatch, and it's literally just police and fire dispatch. And then what you put in those positions, like knob 2, I give it a name, and then what I want to go there, I go down here under talk group list and I enter it here. This is going to show up all your talk groups that you've entered from number 4 here. All of them are going to be here. So you're just going to pick and choose. So if I want to take out fire, I'll hit remove. If I want to add, med 1, I'll hit add. Okay. So this is where you pick from this giant list that you created, and you put in what's going to go in this knob position here. So simple setup. Underneath that, what do we got here? Priority. I had this on at first. It's just like a regular scanner where you can use priority. So you can say, I want to monitor mainly like PD primary 1, so I can hit county primary 1, and then I can tell it, make that the priority, which means just like a scanner, that even if somebody else is talking, every 2 seconds or whatever the default, here's a maximum time, I think, every couple seconds it's going to go back and check to see if somebody's talking, because that's your priority channel. To me, that's annoying if somebody's talking for a long time and then you kind of hear that gap, that pause, because it's checking. And the way I have mine set up, I didn't really need that, so I don't have any priority set up at all. I just have mine's kind of automatically prioritized by how I have my knobs and positions set up. Okay, so but you can enable that here. So that's pretty much it. You fill up the different knob positions like that. Like lean, I have it just called lean, and I have the 2 lean channels in there. I have the PTAC channels in there under PTAC. The admin channels, mainly for police, are in there like that. Fire and medical is all the medical, the hospital, and stuff there. So self-explanatory. Everything else is pretty, like in the middle, all these crazy things are pretty much set up the same. Under that, let's see, what do we got? So that's pretty much done. Under pager, func, yeah, I didn't mess with any of this because we don't do, like I said, I'm not a fireman. This would be better talking to like Ray from the pager place where most of us buy these pagers from. Ray's Pagers, a quick shout out, really good guy, a lot of info, very nice. If you have any questions, he's really good at getting back to you and answering them. So shout out, that's where I bought mine from, and the people that I know that got them from Ray's pager sales. Let's see, so that's that. Let's see, pager configure device parameter. Yeah, I did not mess with any of this, but it should be self-explanatory. The brightness and all that kind of stuff, I didn't do anything with this here. I did not touch any of that, of course, and that's it. Then you get a big detail report that you can print. It shows all your stuff, which is kind of cool. And then program from existing profile. This is where I'm not going to plug in my scanner, but if I plug in my scanner, I believe the program button will show up here or something, and you just hit, you know, that's what I just programmed. That's my main profile. And then I just hit program or next. If I hit next, it might, yeah, then it, okay, so I hit next. And then if my pager's plugged in, it'll show up here. If it shows up there, then you hit program, and it's very quick, like 10 seconds. The front of your pager says programming, and about 10-15 seconds later it says programming done, and that's it. You unplug it, turn it on, and you're good to go. It should be working at that point. Okay. Profile export import, that is where you can import the profile. If you have it saved somewhere, you can export it. Like if you export it, you know, you choose the one you want to export, it'll go to wherever you want to put it. You call it something, that way you do all that work. If something happens to your computer, you still have that. You could throw it on a thumb drive or up in the cloud or something and save it. So that just lets you export so you don't lose all your hard work. And that is really it. Programming log, obviously it's self-explanatory. I've never really went into that, but so that's the whole meat and potatoes. Usually if you want to make tweaks, you'll open the software, you'll go right to view edit existing, your profile will show up, you double click it, then you get this here. I'll make it a little bigger for you, maybe that'll help. So then you get this here, then you're going to go usually right into your, you know, zone channel setting. If you need to add some new groups, you're going to go here and you're going to add them in your big pool. Remember, this is the big pool of all of them. And then to put them in specific channels, you go to number 5 and you put, like if I wanted to, here's state fed, and I've got these. Now this is zone 3, so I'd have to switch my pager on to zone 3 on the front, and then I'd start picking up state police here, DNR here, da da da. If I wanted to add some, I don't know, other federal deal, say I found some FBI thing or something, I think they're mostly encrypted, but if I did and I wanted to put it in knob position 7, I would just double click 7, and then I would basically add the stuff there, you know. I'm going to cancel that for now though. So that is pretty much it. Trying to think if there's any other gotchas or anything. It looks kind of complicated, but it's really not. Once you do the first one and get the hang of it, it's really very simple, and it's very intuitive. You know, it looks like a lot of stuff, but you just start doing it, and it's really intuitive. They actually did a good job. So that's pretty much it. You can, at first I was doing the things, then I'd go cancel, and then I'd go to number 2, and then I'd add what I wanted in knob 2 dispatch, and then I click cancel, and then I go to knob 3, and then I realized, you know what, I can just save, and then you can scroll through the knobs here. There's knob 4, 3, 2, so I don't have to go cancel, and kind of found that out after the fact, but it's actually pretty intuitive, really good stuff, works great for me. I never really had an issue with it. And once again, if you get flustered or you need more help, if you go to here's the user guide, you click the user guide, and it pretty much, if you open stuff up, you know, overview, basic layout, I mean, it does a good job at just explaining everything. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Hope you guys got some help out of that. Once again, the place where you get the stuff is radioreference.com, yeah, which is here. And once again, you go to databases, frequency, you choose your state. Mine's Michigan. Choose your county. Mine's Saginaw. And then if you're on that trunking system, click that, and that's where you get all your info from, your primary alternate control channels. And then if you scroll all the way down to your actual county, that's where you get what talk groups you want to use. And these are the important numbers, the decimal number, that's your actual, you know, frequency that it's going to come across, or your number, and then the alpha tag is what it's going to be. This displays on the front of your pager. So when that displays and they're talking, then I instantly know county fire department is talking, you know. So, okay.